This is the 7 Now kiosk upgrade. 7-Eleven is upgrading their kiosk at several locations. The reason for the upgrade is because the device most likely reached end of life. When the device reaches end of life, that means the hardware is old. And when the hardware is old, that means the device is not getting all the critical updates and patches that it takes to fight off all the vulnerabilities and viruses out there on the internet. And this device is a POS device as well that's going out on the internet. So they want this device highly secured. And this is an Apple device. And we all know Apple hardware gets so quick. I know your iPhone owners know what I'm talking about. The average iPhone user usually keeps their phone for 3 to 4 years. However, iPhones generally last for 5 to 7 years in terms of software support and hardware longevity, making the need to upgrade entirely dependent on your personal usage and battery health. Quality as far as functionality goes starts to decline after 3 to 4 years of constant use. The battery life starts to decrease where it'll only get 80% of maximum charge and it'll start dying quicker. Also, the software starts lagging and glitching intermittently. With iPads, it's a little different. They seem to last a little longer. You can get about 6 to 8 years out of an iPad Pro, and that's just pushing it to the max. Although 6 to 8 years is the more ideal lifespan, 5 to 7 years is a realistic lifespan on those devices. And that's for retail users. For corporate users, it's 3 to 5 years. And that's because they're managing sensitive data for millions of customers, like PII, personally identifiable information, like credit card history, medical history, payment information, things like that. So those devices need to remain highly secure. Enough about security. Now let's get into the upgrade. For the upgrade, the hardware that usually ships is the iPad Pro and the USB hub. I'm not too sure of the model of the iPad Pro, but I would assume it's the most updated one. The hardware was supposed to have been replaced on my last visit, but I couldn't proceed with the upgrade because the mount was damaged. As you can see, the mount was being held on to the stand with zip ties. So they shipped a brand new mount and stand with the upgrade hardware for me to install on this visit. The stand base has 4 screw holes for Phillips head screws that lines up with the bottom of the shaft. Secure that together. And the mount has a groove that slides onto the top of the shaft. You secure that with a hex screw. The upgrade kit ships with adhesive strips and zip ties. Use the adhesive strips to attach the USB hub to the shaft of the stand, along with the existing hardware like the speaker and the brother printer. You can use the zip ties to give the hardware more stability. The charging cable has male USB-C connections at each end. One end goes into the USB-C charging port on the USB hub. The other end goes into the brick, which goes into an outlet. All the iPads get pre-configured to each store location before they get shipped out. That's why when you're opening the box consisting of the upgrade hardware, you may see a sticker with the store number on it. Plus, when you power on the iPad, the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi is already powered on. So when you power on the iPad, the device automatically connects to the store's Wi-Fi, and any device requiring Bluetooth will connect to the device as well. For example, the brother printer and the speaker. Both those devices get connected to the iPad via Bluetooth. That's why the setup is basically a plug-and-play procedure. There's no configuration required on my part. I'm only required to test the functionality of the components. Once I confirm that everything works how it's supposed to work, I take my photos, upload them to the platform, check out with support, and I'm good to go. P.S. I know earlier I said that the speaker connects via Bluetooth. That's incorrect. It actually connects via auxiliary connection, 3.5 millimeter. And that concludes the procedure for the 7-out upgrade. I hope you learned something today. Until next time, stay diligent and stay focused. Thanks for watching.